that Weird Al Yankovic? I want a new duck.
That's correct, yes.
You're on fire today.
I didn't even know that song existed. Welcome back to Brashenomics. Talking about getting your ducks in a row when it comes to real estate. And, it can be a tough thing to do because, as we said, ducks are tough to wrangle. Ramona Jones joins us for the first time with a career in real estate that spans more than 15 years. Ramona is among the top 2% of realtors in Keller Williams nationwide and a recipient of their President's Elite Award. Hello, Ramona. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us.
All right. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so it's interesting when you start thinking about getting organized and getting people organized because, as you know, when you start working with buyers or sellers, I guess, too, people have a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of hope, and sometimes it doesn't work out, the way that maybe they want.
Right. Yeah, it can be tough on people. They typically start online, and like you said, they find a house, they get all excited about it, and they think they're just going to throw an offer at it and get it, and it doesn't really work that way. Yeah,
it certainly takes a little bit more planning. I mean, is that kind of what you're thinking because of just the market we're in?
Yes. So, for people that don't know, we have a real shortage of inventory right now. We call houses inventory, especially in the lower price ranges, houses under $2 to $250 in the south end where I live and work. And also Seattle on the east side, I'd say anything under 400,000 or 500,000 tends to go pretty quickly. A lot of those houses are bank owned and short sales. Those homes are a lot different than traditional, seller-owned homes. So those clean homes that people fall in love with are gone sometimes within a day or two of coming on the market.
I mean, that you really do have to be organized and really know what you're looking for to be able to act that fast. I mean, you can't just make a decision on a whim like, hey, I want to buy a house today, and that's it.
Correct. I always tell my buyers, when I see them online looking around, I tell them the first thing they need to do is talk to a lender. They need to figure out whether or not they're even qualified to buy. From there, they need to be totally pre-approved, because if they fall in love with something, and that's what happens, people get emotional, they fall in love with the house, you have to be ready to go, which means you need a pre-approval letter, you need to make sure your down payment's in the bank, you need to figure out all those things. And then when you find a house you like, you're able to make an offer and be competitive, because there may be 5 other buyers that also want that house making offers on it.
You've been doing this a long time. I imagine you take you work with your clients pretty well. Mm-hmm. Do you find that people today are more ready and willing to, again, put their ducks in a row, go do this work up front, whether it's getting an actual pre-approval letter, understanding where their down payment's going to come from? Are people more receptive to that than maybe they were a year ago or 2 years ago?
I think they are. It used to be so easy to get financing, and back in the day, it really wasn't as important. Most people knew whether or not they'd qualify. Now, a lot of people
Everybody qualified. What do you mean?
Everybody did, yeah. Part of the problem.
Yeah.
But nowadays, a lot of people don't even know, especially first-time buyers, whether or not they qualify. So that's the first hurdle is getting that done. There's also this perception that, we're still in a bad economy. Buyers can come in and make really low offers, and that doesn't happen either. So part of getting your ducks in a row is really getting educated on the process, especially if you haven't bought in a while or if you're a first-time buyer.
So when you start educating somebody on the process, I mean, there must be at least some education on the market that you would bring to somebody. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, look, you can't go lowball offers right now. We can't hardly find a house, let alone go make this screaming deal, right? I mean, are there big pieces of this that you think are really big sticking points people should know?
Well, I think people need to see how quickly things are going. And typically people have some type of a search set up. And I tell them to pay attention to how quickly houses appear and then disappear from that search. And people know what pending means. And they'll see that pending house and sometimes ask me if they can still go see it. And I'll say, no, it's gone. Somebody else has already bought it. So I have them pay attention to that. If they're not set up on a search, I may actually run a market analysis of the neighborhood or the area they like, so they can see how many days on the market houses are spending before they're sold. And if you have 5 days on the market, 3 of those days could have been days negotiating back and forth. So those really short market times, I mean, that house is people are making decisions the first or second day that it's on the market. And that's powerful.
So it's a quick learning. I mean, you don't have to, I guess it sounds to me like you're saying, you don't have to tell people very much. The data kind of speaks for itself. You don't appear to be, quote unquote, pushing houses. It's, look, this is what's happening.
Yes, we tell them what's happening. They see what's happening. Sometimes buyers have to learn for themselves, and that's where the frustration sets in. You get out there, you start looking, or actually physically visiting the houses. They
Kicking tires.
Well, more than kicking tires. You're actually, you're
Test driving.
You're test driving. And then a buyer will find that one, they'll fall in love, and they'll want to make an offer, and I may call for availability, and there are already 3 offers on it. They still want to write it. They're in a competitive situation. They don't get it, and that's where the frustration really sets in.
Ramona Jones joins us from Keller Williams Real Estate. And Ramona, we just have about a minute before we do have to go to break. Mm-hmm. So when people realize they have to move quickly, and they realize that, look, I mean, after this, they've seen their houses come on and off the market, and the disappearing act of inventory, I guess. What is that big? Is there an aha moment that you see people go through?
Usually the aha is when they don't get the one they want, whether it's just seeing it online and then it's gone, or actually making an offer and losing it. That's the aha. And that's when they typically, the next time around, will make a full price offer and be really aggressive and really listen to their realtor's advice.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that becomes a big piece of that too, because the information is everywhere. I mean, you can go find out, you can go on any website and find out what houses are available, or you can find out what's pending or what's sold. But, then there's that advice on actually purchasing a house rather than just watching houses come and go.
Right. And there's a lot more to the offer than just the price. There are terms, type of financing, closing date, inspections, lots of things to talk about. Sure.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. That's Ramona Jones with Keller Williams. We do have to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to continue on. Well, let's continue on the first-time home buyer one-on-one that we have going and continuing to help you get your ducks in a row. We'll be right back.